Coercing the vote refers to the act of manipulating, pressuring, or influencing someone to vote in a specific way through tactics that undermine their autonomy, freedom, and right to make an independent choice. It involves using emotional, psychological, social, and physical means to control another person's decision in the voting booth, often masking these tactics as persuasion, encouragement, or loyalty tests. This form of manipulation distorts the democratic process by prioritizing control and compliance over individual agency and free will. Coercing the vote takes many forms, ranging from overt threats to more subtle and insidious forms of manipulation. The person exerting the coercion may use tactics like emotional manipulation, guilt-tripping, shaming, or social pressure to persuade someone to vote for a particular candidate or policy. They may also weaponize identity politics, using race, gender, or social identity as leverage, or employ bargaining tactics such as withholding intimacy or making relationship ultimatums to secure the desired vote. Emotional manipulation is when the coercer uses emotions such as love, loyalty, or sympathy to sway the other person, implying that their relationship or bond is dependent on casting a vote a certain way. For example, they may say, "If you really love me, you'll vote for this candidate," making the vote a test of affection or loyalty. Guilt-tripping is when the coercer makes the person feel indebted or obligated, implying that not voting in a certain way is a betrayal or lack of appreciation for past sacrifices. This tactic often creates a sense of guilt that is used as leverage to compel compliance. Shaming and social pressure is when the coercer publicly or privately criticizes or labels the other person for not supporting a particular candidate, using terms like ignorant, selfish, or anti-woman. This tactic aims to create fear of social ostracization or ridicule, pushing the individual to comply out of fear of judgment. Bargaining intimacy or affection is when the coercer might offer or withhold physical affection as a means of control, turning what should be consensual and loving connection into a transaction tied to voting behavior. This can include statements like, "If you vote for this candidate, I'll be closer to you," or "If you don't, we're done." Weaponizing identity politics is when the coercer appeals to identity markers like race, gender, or other social categories, insisting that voting for a particular candidate is the only way to truly support or align with these identities. For example, they may argue that any man who doesn't vote for a woman candidate is anti-feminist, using guilt and identity solidarity as tools for compliance. Threatening consequences or ultimatums is when the coercer uses threats or ultimatums, such as ending the relationship or friendship, if the person doesn't vote as they demand. This extreme approach leaves the person feeling they must comply out of fear of losing a significant connection. The dangers and impact of coercing the vote erodes autonomy. Coercing the vote undermines an individual's right to freely choose their political representation. It compromises the democratic principle of a free and fair vote, replacing autonomy with compliance, damages trust and relationships. This tactic creates unhealthy dynamics within relationships, as the coerced individual may feel resentful, controlled, or mistrustful. Long term, this can erode the emotional and psychological foundation of the relationship, distorts the political process. When votes are coerced, they do not genuinely reflect the will or beliefs of the voter, distorting election results and the representation of authentic public opinion. Compromises values and beliefs. Coercing someone to vote against their values or personal convictions can cause internal conflict and regret. It forces them to compromise their beliefs to maintain harmony, which can have long-term emotional and psychological repercussions. Coercing the vote is a significant issue that not only impacts individual relationships, but also threatens the integrity of the democratic process. It's essential to recognize these manipulative tactics and prioritize respect, freedom, and discernment in all political and personal interactions. Are you tired of seeing manipulation and coercing the vote instead of truth and integrity? It's time to take a stand. It's time to reclaim the power of choice and the freedom to vote based on your values, not out of fear, guilt, or pressure. If you're ready to activate your gift of discernment and build the courage to see through manipulation, I challenge you to join my 7-day Got Discernment Challenge. In this challenge, we'll uncover the tactics used to control and coerce, and I'll equip you with the tools to confidently make decisions that align with your convictions, free from manipulation. But that's not all. Dive even deeper with my must-read resources, Discernment for Dummies and Deceivers, the guidebook. This book will guide you step by step through the process of identifying deception and empowering yourself to make informed, courageous choices in all areas of your life. So are you ready to break free from the chains of manipulation and become the discerning, empowered person you were meant to be? Click the link to join the challenge, grab your books, and start the journey today. Let's build a future where your voice is your own, your vote is your power, and your life is aligned with your truth.
Your next move needs to be your best move. Most of us don't even activate this gift of discernment until after we have messed up and royally screwed over our lives. Are you willing to activate? Are you willing to activate your God-given gift of discernment? You have to think critically about your decisions. You cannot afford to keep learning lessons after the fact. You have to be proactive. You have to think before you act. Let's activate.